Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. My name's Jim. I'm glad you survived your time with old Homer last week and came back for more. Old Homer's always fun. I seem to have a way of entertaining myself sometimes. I used to say far out when something impressed me and it got me thinking about how we used to express ourselves with slang and little sayings and all that stuff, and that evolves over time. And words and phrases we used to use, we no longer use. Sayings from the 1920s is way beyond any of us, but I've come up with some words and phrases from the 1960s and 70s and 80s and possibly 90s that young people today would have no idea what we're talking about. Shoot, I hardly know what I'm talking about most of the time. So we're going to come up with some words and phrases that you no longer hear. Back in the day when if you had holes in your clothes, you were poor and not cool. So here goes. We'll start it off with beat feet. Remember that one? Means get out of there, leave in a hurry. Burn rubber. They may use this today, I don't know. It usually means leave rapidly in a vehicle. Maybe scratch those tires a little. Knuckle sandwich. I know we're peace, love, and all that stuff. But if someone says they're going to give you a knuckle sandwich, don't hang around to get hit in the jaw. Bust a gut. Bust a gut. Is your gut going to burst? No, that generally meant laughing. Kind of today's capital L, capital O, capital L. I can dig it. Get a shovel, I can dig it. No, I can dig it. I understand it and I agree. And I really like it a lot. I can dig it. Heavy. That doesn't mean something weighs 100 pounds. That's heavy, man. That means that's profound, worth thinking about, carries a lot of weight in what you say. That's heavy. Square. They're square. Means they're not cool. Well, what does cool mean? I think I have cool on here somewhere. Square means you're just not with it. Living in yesterday. You're not popular. You're not up to the times. You're not up to date. 10-4, good buddy. That saying came from the CB radios and basically the men and women that drive big semi-trucks cross country and whatever. And it got to be part of the genre of language, probably back in about the 70s, 80s. 10-4, good buddy. Veg out. You mean you're a bunch of vegetables? No, but we could be a couch potato. Veg out. Here's one I always liked and used it quite a bit. Chick. I always referred to the female population as chicks. I find myself still doing it once in a while. With no disrespect at all. In fact, I think in my heart it was a respectful term I used, even if women didn't like it. I don't know if they liked it or not. No one ever smacked me one for saying it. I found it's much better than dames, which was the generation before me. Hip, same as cool. Here's one for you that still exists and nobody knows what it is. You see it in places that says CC, and what it stands for is carbon copy. Anybody remember carbon paper? You have a piece of paper, you lay a piece of carbon paper over that, and then you lay another piece of paper over that, and you write something, and that piece of paper under the carbon paper is kind of like a copy machine. CC, carbon paper. Pedal pushers. That all started because they were short, tight pants on young ladies, and they were up to about mid-calf so they could ride a bicycle without getting their pants stuck in the drive chain. I believe they're called capris today. I found myself still calling them pedal pushers, though. My wife seems to correct me on some of this stuff. Icebox. It is a refrigerator. When I was a kid, we had to open the fridge and close it in one fluid motion. That means you had to have a plan before you ever opened the refrigerator door, because if Dad was sitting there, he'd yell, "Close the refrigerator door." Back in the day, when there was just an insulated box with a big old chunk of ice in it, you did not want that warm air to melt that ice. Today I stand there with the door open, scratching myself, trying to figure out what I want to eat. Close the icebox door. Don't have a cow. What, you're going to have a little calf? No, it means don't get upset. Don't get all stressed out over the situation. Don't have a cow, man. My dogs are barking. Roof, roof, roof. Your feet are tired. You've been walking or standing on your feet all day. My dogs are barking. Got to pig out. Why are we doing all these animals? Pig out. All it means is you're going to eat, maybe not with the best of manners, until you're just over full. You're going to pig out, maybe on some munchies. Cruising for a bruising. You're cruising for a bruising, man. All that is you're threatening to do bodily harm to somebody if they don't get out of your space. Usually this is a friendly term as a throwback at somebody insulting you. Because if you were really chin to chin, chest to chest, nose to nose with somebody that you thought was going to give you a knuckle sandwich, you wouldn't tell them they're cruising for a bruising. You just make them a sandwich of your own. Pad. That is where you live. Come over to my pad. The English used to call it flat, and they may still, but I do believe us Americans have abandoned the word pad. Cat. Here we go with the animals again. He's a cool cat. That means he's a character or a person. I'd say he's a person. Person, place, or thing. He or she. I think this usually refers to the male of the species, though. Peepers. Jeepers, creepers, where'd you get those peepers? That is a slang word for glasses. Freak flag fly. This came about in the 1970s. I do believe Jimi Hendrix and possibly Crosby, Stills and Nash referred to their freak flag. You just want to show people that you belong to that peace love generation, apparently. Bread. I'm not talking about Wonder Bread. I'm talking about money. Show me the money. Bread. Fink. You rat fink. That's somebody who's a tattletale, for lack of a better word for it. Space cadet. A space cadet is literally somebody that just walks around kind of in a fog, forgets what they're saying or forgets what they're looking for or forgets why they came into the room. I believe the word came about because of the help of hallucinogens and marijuana, but it lasted much longer than maybe that culture wanted to have that word coined for. Yada, yada, yada. I do believe that first came about in a Seinfeld episode. You could say it replaced the word etc., etc., etc. Kind of a carry on the conversation without being too specific of what was being said. Boob tube. Television. Hooch. Booze. Don't touch that dial. Well, back in the days of radio and television, the early days of TV and the golden age of radio, you changed channels by turning a dial. So the advertisers said, don't touch that dial. Watch our advertisement. Then we'll be back to the show. See you in the funny papers. Funny papers barely exist anymore, I understand. They're comic strips that came in the Sunday paper, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 pages of colored Sunday comics. It's just a way of saying aloha when you're leaving. See you in the funny papers. The cat's pajamas. That's just saying that that's something that's all right. Those shoes are the cat's pajamas. Busted. Now, busted used to mean broken, and today it means ugly. Back in the 60s and the 70s, possibly the 80s, it meant you're caught doing wrong. You're busted. Boss. Not the guy that could hire or fire you, but what you're doing is saying that that's okay. That's boss, man. Split. Well, it could mean a bevy of things, but what it means in our slang of the day, back in my day, it means you're going to leave. Got to split, man. Uptight. You're very intense and rigid individual. You're uptight. What about this one? Made in the shade. So it's a factory that stands in the shade? No, it just means that things are good. Things are all right. Everything's going your way. You've got it made in the shade. Ankle biter. Yeah, I don't think it means chiggers. I do believe we're referring to somebody's child. Little bitty baby, maybe a toddler or one crawling around. Maybe even a 5-year-old, you never know. Yeah, they've got 3 ankle biters over there, old Sally and Jack. Flip your wig. Does anybody even have a wig anymore? Flip your wig just means kind of got upset. Bummer. What is a bummer? A bum used to be a guy that what we probably call homeless today. No, a bummer was things didn't work out. Things didn't go your way. You had a plan and it didn't work out. You're going somewhere and it was canceled. It's a bummer. It's a bummer, man. Hang loose. Well, as I get older, I hang looser all the time. What that means is just relax. Just relax. Hang loose. The man. The man. Opposed to the woman? No. The man is a person in authority. Very often it was referring to police officers, but it could be your boss. It could be the mayor. It could be the guy down the street at the restaurant that won't let you in because no shirt, no shoes, and so the man says no service. Groovy. There was a song back in the 60s called Groovy Kind of Love. Groovy, a loose definition of groovy, would be just everything's just right. Everything's going perfectly. Everything has a smile to it. It's groovy, man. Groovy kind of love. Jalopy. Now this was before my time. This is the generation before my time. But I saw it and made me smile and almost made me laugh a little. A jalopy is a car, and it gives a connotation that maybe it's an older car, kind of half broke down half the time. My jalopy. Can. Like a can of soup? No, man. Can is the jail. Better watch out. You don't want to get thrown in the can. Here's another one that's just a little older than me, but that's okay. I used to hear it when I was younger. I think I've even said it. Don't take any wooden nickels. Basically saying don't lend somebody something without getting paid back. Don't take any wooden nickels, man. Here's one of my very favorites, old lady. This referred to your girlfriend or your wife, your fiance. It was very much a term of endearment, but also a little bit of a term of possession, I do believe. I know hippie girls liked it, and that's what they accepted that they were, was the old lady. And maybe it sounds more serious than my girlfriend, and less serious than my wife. And the next one, old man, refers to a dad figure more than the boyfriend or husband, but it can be used as such. I made a mistake one time of calling my dad the old man right in front of him, and I only did it the one time ever. I remember how he told me how that was not going to pass muster around him, and to never do that again. You know what? I never did it again either. I didn't. Wallflower. I'm not exactly sure what a wallflower is. I always thought it was something like on a wall that was like wallpaper. And back in the day, there was wallpaper instead of painting walls or whatever. And they had great patterns. And a lot of them were patterns of flowers on the wall. And so a wallflower was somebody like at a dance that would sit there back to the wall and nobody would ask them to dance. And they were too shy to go find somebody to ask for themselves. A wallflower. I believe we still have wallflowers today. Hoity-toity. I like this one. I think it's because it rhymes. I still use it a lot. Nobody has any idea what I'm talking about. But I would say it's to act like you're better than you are. You have no money, you act like you're loaded. You have a menial job, and you act like you are the most important person in the world. It really doesn't matter how much money you have or what kind of job you have. It's how you carry yourself in life. So a lot of people may have a lot of money and they're hoity-toity because they think they're more important than they are. Hoity-toity. Jazzed. I'm jazzed, man. That means I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm ready to just do it. Tune out. Timothy Leary was famous for saying, tune in, turn on, and drop out. Well, we're tuning out. Kind of someone's talking to you and you're not listening. That's a pretty fair definition without getting too technical. And our last one is hacked. We all think that our computer maybe got hacked or our Facebook page got hacked. But back in the day, hacked meant made you mad. Tell you what, if my Facebook page gets hacked, that makes me mad. That's a fact. They all kind of go together there. I hope you kind of enjoyed this today. Maybe there's a few phrases and sayings and words that brought back a memory or two. Hope I made you smile. You can find us on Facebook at Baby Boomer Tales or our babyboomertales.com webpage. Thank you for riding along today. I always appreciate it. If you enjoy this podcast, I ask that you share it. It's the only thing I ever ask of you. Kindness is a priority that should be at the very top of your list. Always be kind. I'll be back next Wednesday. Peace out.